guys, welcome back to my channel Monkey Wrench. I'm Kelly, the monkey with the wrench. We are in preparation mode for Hurricane Milton, which is due to hit in about 36 hours.
Please subscribe.
The wind is picking up. I don't know if you can hear that across the microphone. We got cloudy skies. The gate's going to be squeaking the whole way. Sorry about that. So what we're talking about today is going to be generators. This happens to be my Champion dual fuel. You may have seen this. I made a video for a friend to show how to use it about a year and a half ago. I think December of 22. And I want to talk to you about some of the biggest mistakes that cost people lives during hurricanes, during any kind of natural disasters using generators. So I'll keep the video short. There's a couple things you always need to remember. If you don't have to use extension cords, don't use extension cords. The closer you can stay to the generator or power station, the better you're going to be. You start running extension cords from outside in through your house, not only is it a tripping hazard, but things can be loose. I've seen people use indoor, non-commercial type extension cords, and they can actually cause fires. I've seen people try to overload their generator. Oh, my generator only has one plug. So they get a 12 plug power strip and they try to plug in a refrigerator and a stove and a coffee maker and all kinds of things at the same time. They overload the generator, they overload the extension cords, and they can be a fire issue. You need to have some sort of extension cord though, because the biggest thing that people do is attempt to use a generator inside the house during the storm. Don't use the generator during the storm. If you have a power outage and it's in the middle of a hurricane, that hurricane is going to pass by in the next 12 hours or so. Do not fire up your generator until after the storm passes. And the biggest reason for that is you can't run your generator inside. Carbon monoxide will build up quickly in your home. People asphyxiate or basically suffocate because of the fumes they put in the house, and they don't ventilate the house. And trust me, when you're running a generator, you can have all the windows open. It's still not going to be enough ventilation for you. So do not run the generator inside your house. You could cost yourself your life and your family's life. And the reason I say don't run it during the storm is, while you're running a generator outside, you often have to go out and refill it. You have to put more fuel in it. In my case, hook up another propane tank to it. You don't want to be doing that in the driving rain of a hurricane. You don't want to be doing that in 100-mile-an-hour winds or 50-mile-an-hour winds. We'll be getting 100-mile-an-hour winds plus here. Debris will be flying through the air, and you just don't want to be outside in that.
Don't make unnecessary journeys. Don't take risks on treacherous roads today.
Whether it's daytime or nighttime, you don't need your refrigerator to be running for 12 hours. It's not going to defrost. Keep the doors closed. Keep everything cold. You're fine. You don't need lights just because it's the middle of the night. Grab a flashlight. Use enough light just to get around. Huddle down with your family. Sit tight, chill, fire up your laptop, watch some movies, whatever you have going on. But you do not need power that bad to make yourself go outside in high winds, driving rain, and flying debris.
Whatever you do, don't put the blame on you. Blame it on the rain.
As soon as the storm passes, you can then fire up your generator, turn on your air conditioner if you're in Florida, plug your refrigerators in, that kind of thing. And the other thing I wanted to mention is, again, with refrigeration, which is the biggest thing for most people, you don't have to run a refrigerator 24/7. If that's what you're concerned about, besides some lights, when you fire up your generator, fire it up for an hour. Let the refrigerator come back down to temperature. Then turn it off, wait 3 or 4 hours, plug it back in, turn it back on. You only have to run it for 1 hour every 4, 5, 6 hours. Refrigerators and freezers do not defrost that quickly. So you can use your generator sparingly. Now in my case, I have portable power stations. The portable power stations I have, when they're plugged into a home or a generator, take about 1 hour to get 80% charged. So about an hour and a half total. And they will run every light that I have, my refrigerator, they'll run my air conditioning, they'll run everything, and I can recharge them in 60 to 90 minutes. Which means I'll use my generator if there's not enough sun to use my solar panels to charge up my power stations, and then I'll use those for several hours or days to keep the lights going, to keep the air conditioning going, to keep the refrigerator running, because it's more economical that way. So yes, I do have both. My generator runs on propane. It's a dual fuel. You can put gasoline in it. There's a cap on the top to put gas in it. I have never put gasoline in this generator, and I never will. The reason for that is gasoline will mess up your carburetor, especially with generators. They get used once a year, maybe once every 2 or 3 years. You didn't clean out the carburetor, it gummed up inside. Even with regular non-ethanol fuel, your carburetors will get dirty nasty if you leave gas in them. So unless you ran them dry and you realize you need to do that, the next time you go to fire this thing up, you're going to have problems. With propane, you don't have that problem. The propane dissipates out of the carburetor when you're finished, and you're good to go. So I prefer propane. Doesn't run quite as long as a full tank of gas. It is a little bit more expensive, but storing propane is a whole lot easier, cheaper, and long-term. Propane never goes bad. These have been sitting here for at least 3 years, and it's just as good as the day it was bottled. So let me show you real quick how to hook this thing up and how to use it. Generators, especially propane, are easier to use than you think. You should have a sliding door or something along that effect which allows you to get to the gas. If you put gasoline in it, you can turn it on and turn it off, and mine has an on-off switch here. If I move that over to the propane setting, that's all I have to do. Now I just plug in my propane by screwing my regulator on. And I'm only doing this hand tight for you guys because I'm just testing it out to make sure everything's good to go. You always want to test your generator a day or two before the storm to make sure you're not going to have any problems. The last thing you want to do is wait until after the storm passes and break it out and find out it doesn't work. I'm going to turn on the fuel, which in this case is the propane. I'm going to turn it on here. I'm going to give it a second to pressurize in the system. And that's what happens every year. And then I always go back and double check and make sure that it's all connected. That's the power on and off for the actual electricity part. There's nothing else to it, so it might take a minute to regulate the pressure in here. Let's give it a couple more pulls. To turn it off, all you have to do is cut off the propane. You can turn it off here on the machine, or I can turn it off here on the bottle. It just took an extra minute to pressurize the regulator inside of the carburetor to get it to start. Had I not been in a hurry, I wouldn't have pulled it the first 10 times. I probably would have just waited a full minute for everything to pressurize and then go ahead and start it, and it would have started on the first or second pull. Unhook it, and you're good to go. There's no carburetor to clean. What propane might be in there is going to find its way out back into the air, and you're good to go. Now I can put this thing back where I keep it. It's always better to run a generator when it's not being rained on. I see a lot of people that try to fire one up during a storm and they try to cover it over. Don't run your generators during a storm. Once the storm passes, you can fire it up. There can be a little rain on it, that's not a problem. Or, like in my case, if you have an overhang, something that you can put it under to keep the rain off of it, you're even in better shape. But a light rain is not going to hurt this thing from running. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. There'll be a link down in the description if you'd like to donate to the channel. We're going to need some help financially because we're going to lose a lot of stuff. For those of you that are in the way of this hurricane, please be safe. Please do everything you can to protect yourself and your property. Hit the subscribe button. It's somewhere between my chin and my balls, and I'll see you soon.